Hello, and welcome to my painstakingly accurate build of Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, which is a book and a movie. It's a pretty big build, as accurate as I can get it. Uh, Situated in a flat map, I built all these mountains myself, and right at the end of the valley, just kind of popped this fortress in. And Jesus, it took a while, like a really long while. Only a few days in reality, but just to finish a single mountain, it felt like it took years. So let's start off this tour. Just kind of pop into the front entrance. As you can see, the ramp, made out of stone slabs and andesite, leads right into the front door. And here we are, in the fortress. There's carts, wood, and supplies everywhere. Hay bales for the horses. So before the siege, a bunch of Rohirrim came here, refugees from the Isengard forces that were ravaging their land. And, of course, it starts to rain. I think every time I've done a video like this, just somewhere in it, it just has to rain. Get rid of that. Okay, so over here, this is the entryway to the cave where all the refugees hid during the siege. Naturally, it's blocked off by supplies and whatever the Rohirrim could find, so that the orcs couldn't get in through this way, because that would be way too obvious. Over here, this is actually the entrance to that little ledge thing that Aragorn and Gimli used to attack the orcs on the ramp, so that Theoden and the rest of the Rohirrim could rebuild the gate. And if I'm lucky, or careful enough, you can actually make this jump. Yep, there you go. You can't make it back, though. Aragorn and Gimli were actually pulled out by Legolas in that scene, up the wall over here. So if we go back in, this will lead us to the keep. You can gain access to the wall from there. I know that looks silly, but check out the pictures, watch the movie. That actually is there. That's a thing. And it leads up to the wall. From here, you can get a pretty good view of the deeping wall. And over here, this is the section of the wall where all the archers were basically protecting the ramp. Some peasants were throwing rocks at orcs with battering rams. And since we're up here, I guess we'll go through the keep through this way. There's two ways to enter the keep. So the elven army that came to help the Rohirrim, they actually came through this way. Stood right here. This is where they met Theoden and Aragorn. One of my favorite parts of this build, actually. A lot of these walls I was originally going to keep flat, but after looking at pictures, I noticed there was a lot of crenellations and archways. So I threw those in too. If you also look at the walls closely, there's a lot of cracked stone and mossy stone brick. That's because the fortress is pretty old. It's an old Gondorian fortress, actually, but Gondor sort of abandoned it and Rohan took over. And really quick, before we go in the Citadel, up here, this is where Theoden stood, and managed the defense. He could see all of the Isengard forces coming into the valley from here. He could also get a good glimpse of the deeping wall, give orders to Aragorn and his men over there. Okay, and if we get down from here, let's really quickly go into the Citadel. Armor stands and armor to create these statue effects in the columns and over there. And for these torches, this is actually pretty cool. I got this idea from someone else, to be honest. I can't remember who off the top of my head, but I'll probably mention it in the description below. It's a torch plus item frame with an anvil inside. Kind of makes it look like it has a stand or some place to put the torch, so it's not just hanging in thin air. And if we go in here we are in the Citadel, the throne room. So there's tables, chairs, a few bookcases in the back, a very nice partitioned domed ceiling, and an okay throne. It's not the most ornate of all throne rooms, but that's okay because this is Helm's Deep. It's not where the king presides. It's more of just a place for a lord. He came here from Edoras, where his real citadel is, and basically just to defend his people. Here's his Theoden's armor. Okay, so if you watch this scene in the movie, the scene where they're in the Citadel, they're guarding from all the orcs, they're trying to get in, A lot of things happen, and there's a lot of dialogue that actually basically I used as instructions for how to build this place. The first thing that came to mind is, where did they get the horses? Uh, Aragorn tells Theoden we should charge out and meet them in battle. Theoden agrees, and all of a sudden, boom, in the next scene they all have horses. They're ready to ride out and meet the orcs head on. But where do they get the horses? Where do they come from? They can't. It's not like they can leave and go to wherever the stable is and get their horses. There has to be a stable in this room. So I built that over here. I imagine it's not big enough, but you can keep about 4 horses in here, and that's pretty cool. Another thing that happens during the scene, Aragorn tells Gamling to go tell the women and children in the caves to make for the mountain pass. Again, how could he do that? How could he possibly leave the citadel while they are under attack by Uruk-hai? There would have to be an entrance into the caves from here. So I put that over here. As I pointed out before, this is the entranceway to the cave, blocked off and barricaded. But if we go this way, here it is. So just like in the Nether, there's glowstone on the ceilings and walls, kind of to give light, also to replicate that kind of glimmering effect that was in the caves in the movie. I didn't really spend a whole lot of time making this place accurate, because it's really not the focus of the build, but it's still here. And, okay, let's go back to the Citadel one more time, because there was basically one other scene that told me that, or one other piece of dialogue that told me how this structure is supposed to be built, and that is when Theoden told Gimli to blow the horn of Lord Hammerhelm, the original keeper of this castle. So for Gimli to be able to do that, he couldn't go through that entrance. He would have had to go through an entrance from the Citadel itself. I imagine it was this way. This entrance, which leads out to the wall, would have been blocked off somehow by the Rohirrim. And Gimli would have had to gone up and through this way into the tower, which we'll show off when we get up there, but it's kind of a long way, so I'm going to try to dash up the stairs. Yep, it's a tall tower, like I said, so this is going to take a while. I think we're almost there, though. And yep, here we are. This sad structure, this thing that I built, it's supposed to be the horn. I don't know, it doesn't look that great. I really wouldn't know how else to build a horn, so that's just going to have to do for now. If we zoom out, here's the top of the tower. It's kind of hard to see against the mountain, but if I get behind it, you should be able to see it from the light of the moon. Yeah, there you go. So this tower was extremely important to this build, because out of all the other Minecraft builds of Helm's Deep I've seen, the tower and the Citadel face, which I'll show over here, those pieces typically become the weakest part of the build. Either they look too big or too small, or they're not ornate enough, or not descriptive enough. So it was really important to me that I got this piece right, and I am pretty satisfied with how it looks. It's tough to build because it's got all these spiky things sticking out, so that's hard to do with blocks. But I'm pretty satisfied with how I was able to get it to work, so that's a thing. Okay, moving on. I think all that's left really to show off, you've seen up here the keep, the rest of the fortress, the walls, citadel, and the cave. I think all that's left is the deeping wall, which is mostly where all the peasants, all the refugee peasants were living in tents behind the wall. And this was a huge part of the defense against the Isengard forces. So Aragorn led all the elves and some of the archers from here. If we go behind here, you can see the lake, or not the lake, the river, I'm sorry, which flows from this waterfall coming out of the mountains. There's a bridge here for ease of access, and obviously the culvert. This is the weakest part of the wall, mostly because it's not covered by four layers of stone. So in the movie, you see the Uruk-hai put dynamite in there, and it successfully blows up the entire wall and allows the orcs an easy entrance into the fortress. Oh, before we continue the wall, there is one more part I was missing. A scene from the movie that shows Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas in a basically an armory. I put the armory through here, so if you walk through here, which is also happens to be the path where the force at the Deeping Wall retreated through. I come up here, and here is the armory. So you can see chainmail, iron, armor, boxes for where the swords are, and that all connects right back to the Citadel. So that scene, I also used that area from that scene to kind of make the structure make a little more sense. Kind of make it seem like it's a real castle. And back to the Deeping Wall. So, like I said, it's 4 meters wide, which is a number I got from a bunch of sources that describe Helm's Deep. I'm pretty sure that's directly from the book, actually. So 4 meters wide, which in Minecraft every block is a meter, or so I'm told, and about 7.5 meters tall. So I think I actually got it up to 8 or 9 meters, just because in the movie it looks a little taller than all that, because 7 meters itself, it's not very tall. So that's how that ended. Overall, I am satisfied with how the wall came out. These things right here, they actually hide your view. So if you're like Gimli, you have to hop up just to get it, just to see anything, which is kind of annoying. But on the sides here, every 2 meters, there's a gap. This is where archers can kind of fit through, take a couple shots at the Uruk-hai, but then come back for cover. And like I said, I think it came out really nice. The stairs work well. I don't know, it looks like it'd be fun to defend this spot with a bunch of your friends against an oncoming horde of zombies or whatever. So back here, there's like a stable type structure and more hay bales. It's kind of empty, but that might change. You never know. And it looks like the moon is going down right now. Sun's about to come up. Just as that's happening, we'll pull out here, get a few more wide shots of the full build against the mountains. It's tough to see at night, but it's not too bad with all the torches. Kind of has an interesting glow to it. Okay, hold on, let me just check our time. And we're coming to the end of this video, so I'm actually going to set the time to dawn, just so we can see what it looks like there. And that was unsuccessful, hold on. Oh, there we go. There has to be a space. Okay, so, yep, here we are. It's morning. The sun's coming up from this entryway right here. This is where Gandalf and Éomer actually rode down to save the Rohirrim from the attacking Isengard forces. So from over here you can get a pretty cool view of the keep. The tower sticks out nicer from the mountains when you use the shader, just because it has more of a fog effect. So really quickly before we end this video, the mountains I built all from scratch using World Edit. Still took a very long time. I also kind of put a little bit of stone, cobblestone, a little bit of grass, just to make it look more natural. And yeah, that's about it. I think that's it for this video. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe. I do plan on doing more of these big builds, also a few smaller ones, since it feels like this took forever. But yeah, I hope you liked the video, and have a good day. See you later.